Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker. And today, oh, that's going to be annoying. We need to mute this. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about something that's probably considered a little bit more boring, but it's reacting to people on the road. And where this came from is, you know, I put up a story today that on the way to work, you know, I'd seen someone on their phone, and I mean, what I didn't mention in the story was that person was, number one, they had their kid in the car, which I did mention, like their literal child. But they're also weaving all over the road, and honestly speaking, if they didn't have lane assist, they probably would have crashed a few times, because they were all over the place. They were bad. Whatever about you, if you want to be a, we won't say the word I want to say, and like drive, well, and I mean phone, up on their steering wheel in front of their face, like texting. If you want to do that on your own, you know, you're risking other people around you, but when you do it with a child in the car, like, come on. All I did was, you know, make a quick, like, Y gesture and move on with my life. Because it's not worth it, especially nowadays. People are insane. And, you know, another thing that happened was a lady threw her lit cigarette out the window, directly onto my, actually, it nearly went into my t-shirt. Thankfully, I kind of caught it. Whoops. Luckily, I caught it before it, you know, really got in there and burned me, because that would not have been fun. And, you know, that's, those are two things that I could have let, like, really get to me. We're going towards Wilson Mills, by the way. Well, I think we're actually technically in Wilson Mills right now. We looked at a house over around here somewhere, and I got a burrito in there that was delicious. That place back there, when we were looking at houses last year. Annie Hoozles would be really nice around here, actually. It's a nice place. Yeah, so that person who threw the cigarette at me, that one pissed me off, you know, because not only just the whole, you know, burning me thing, but also the whole littering thing. I really don't like I don't like cigarette butts thrown just on the ground and around the place. You know, have a little ashtray in your car or something. So anyway, that particular lady, I did make sure she knew my opinions. She was confused, explained the situation to her via verbal, or via like non-verbal cues. She looked suitably horrified and apologized, and that was all good. And the whole point of this video is, you know, I see a lot more and more lately on Instagram and YouTube shorts, especially reels and shorts, because it's like reels and shorts, and it's a part of the reason I don't particularly like them, is, you know, they're designed for like shock factor, because they have to grab your attention really quickly and keep it for 30 seconds to 60 seconds, and then that's it, you're good, back into the wild with you, young creature, swipe to the next one and find it, you know. That media works really well with like cats and cute animals, but I don't think it works so well for bikes, because what we've ended up with is lots of highly successful reels where you have people being complete morons, riding terribly, and we'll get to one of those instances in a second. And then also like the whole mirror slapper offers. And what I'm saying to you is, like, in either of those situations, especially if, for instance, the one with the cigarette one, right? In that situation, if I decided to slap off a mirror, would I have been warranted? Yeah, maybe. Don't throw cigarettes at people. It's pretty bad. However, it would have escalated a situation that basically was diffused. I got an apology. No harm was done to either party. Same as recently going to West Virginia, and it's a real pity I didn't think to pull the camera footage off my dash cam before I rode the following 7 hours to West Virginia, because it had overwritten it. But there was a lady who pulled out of like a left turn lane with the divider. She pulled out of that in front of me while I was doing 55-60 miles an hour. I barely stopped in time. And again, I expressed my displeasure. She apologized. Her passenger, who was either boyfriend, husband, who knows, brother, cousin, friend, they looked very embarrassed. She apologized, and I moved on with my life. No harm done. No one was hurt. Hopefully she learned a lesson from it, because it was an intensely stupid thing to do, but at the same time, you know, like I said, no harm was actually done. And that's the problem I see with these reels and shorts, is I feel like people, I don't know, are they learning that behavior? Do they think that's okay, or do they think it's cool? But I mean, what's not shown in those videos is what happens if you escalate that situation by like slapping a wing mirror off, and then you have someone who decides, well, you know what, they slapped my wing mirror off, I'm gonna knock them off their bike with my car. Then you're possibly, you know, no longer among the living. All for what? For what? For what? If you're lucky enough to escape a situation with a car, you know, unhurt, you've already won. Like, this is a conversation I had with someone, you know, about a reel I'll talk about in a second, where I said that no matter, even if a bike is 100% in the right, the bike is wrong. Not only societally, people just don't like bikers, and that's something you need to be aware of. People don't like us, unfortunately. They never try to talk to us, because, you know, a lot of people, before they realize you're a biker, they might like you, and then they might change their minds. But it's something to be aware of, that most people do not like people on bikes. They have preconceived notions about us. They all think we're the same, etc. And that's another thing that these people who are riding terribly, really just poor bike riding ability, slapping wing mirrors off and whatnot, and just, you know, trying to be cool tough dudes. You know, they make it worse. They make it worse because, again, that super shocking clickbaity reel, that gets seen by people who also don't ride bikes, and then it exacerbates that viewpoint that people have of people who ride motorcycles, that, oh, we're all a bunch of thugs and we're just not nice people, you know. And that's something that really pisses me off, because, you know, motorcycles are something that I would like to see more people get involved with, you know, more and more people over time. Not less, because it is number one, it's a fantastic hobby. It's actually relatively active and healthy if you know, ride a particular type of bike or whatever. You're out in the air, you see the world, you make lots of friends, it's fun, and then, you know, if you use it for commuting, it saves you money too, in terms of fuel. And actually, my motorcycle insurance over here is way cheaper than my car insurance. Looking at you, Progressive, can't wait to leave you. I will not be giving them my business again. They tried to put my car insurance up by 23%, and that is, to me, that's daylight robbery, because I haven't had any claims, accidents, nothing like that. No tickets, literally nothing. It is literal robbery, and I'm not going to support that type of business. So sorry, Progressive, for all your adverts about motorcycles and being hip and cool and with it. You can shove it up your hoo-ha, because I am not. No, 23%. Like, you can tell me inflation, you can tell me rise in costs, you can tell me whatever the hell you want, but 23%, no, it's not ever happening. Anyway, I digress. And you know, the particular video that I actually commented on, and I don't very often comment on reels, but this particular one was like a guy, so in a situation like now, a 2-lane road with opposing traffic, he stopped. So like right now, there's a truck a good, you know, 20 meters back from me. He just stopped and then pulled left, and right before that happens, you can see his friend move to the right. So maybe there was, you know, something that happened before. Maybe the car driver was driving erratically. I don't know, because they didn't show us in the video. Another issue with reels. Oh, this area is pretty. I don't think I've ever been here before. Holy moly, look at this. We got a golf course for the rich people here, folks. Hell yeah, brother, you drive that golf court on your fancy grass. That could be a racetrack. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It could be a racetrack. Oh, I know where we are. Now I know where we are. Yeah, that's the greenway to my left. Oh, okay, that's cool. But yeah, so basically, he stops. He comes to a full stop, as if I was to come to a full stop right now, and then he pulled left, and then the car hit him. And you know, should the car have hit him? No. Did the car have time to stop? Probably. Should the car have tried to go around him in that situation? Probably not. However, said person is incredibly lucky that, you know, he wasn't injured, or oh, I meant to pull in there. That's the other community park that I haven't been to. Anyway, I mean, it could have been so much worse. He could have had a leg broken. Any number of injuries could have happened, and like I said, intensely lucky that they didn't happen. even if he had been entirely in the right, which he wasn't, you still, like I said, you always assume you're entirely in the wrong, because you're on a bike, and car v bike loses every single time, unless you're on a Goldwing. A Goldwing, I can see a Goldwing taking out some smaller cars, or like some of those big Harley tours. I can see them winning a game of fisticuffs with some bigger cars, or some smaller cars, I should say. What is this place? What are you? I have not been here before. Oh, speed bumps for cars, but not for bikes. The growing years. What is this place? This is cool. I don't know what this place is. Oh, that's a credit union. I think I know where we are. I think I know where we are. I think I do. Ooh, how interesting and exciting. Yeah, I do know where we are, because there's a really nice Mexican down here. Now, I've only ever gotten takeaway, or takeout, as the Americans say. But this Mexican down here, it generally keeps you waiting way too long to actually collect your takeaway. They give you a time and then completely ignore the time, which would be fine, except the lady at the window was extremely rude to me once. Instead of just being like, yeah, sorry about that, I'll be another little while. However, let's go look at the apartments. But yeah, so as I said, even if in some foreign Dreamville, that person on the bike who stopped, and I'll show you here now, because I'm going to use my mirrors and make sure there's no one behind me. So imagine this is a 2-lane road, we have people coming against us. So Buddy Boy stops and then moves left like this, so like blocks off the entire center section of the road, where, you know, theoretically a car could have safely made it around them, which is, you know, leads me to think, like, did that car think that he was just stopping, and did they think, okay, I'm just going to go around him because this is weird, you know? And then he got hit, and it would, like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. And my concern is stuff like this. Okay, so if you look at, for instance, like motovloggers who, you know, inspired me to make motovlogs. We'll phrase it that way. Like Baker X Derek, Suburban Delinquent, you know, Do It With Dan. I'm forgetting so many people. I know I'm forgetting so many people. I feel bad now, because there are legitimately so many more. And then even, you know, if you look at the type of channels that inspired me to want to actually make channels in general, you know, the likes of Mighty Car Mods, Gears and Gasoline. Very different to, you know, what people, and the thing is, you have to be cognizant of the fact there's people who are going to be looking at that. They're young, impressionable, you know, and they're going to want to emulate you to a degree, maybe, and you don't want people emulating dumb stuff. So, like, you know, you want to emulate Do It With Dan back in the day, sure, okay, I can see some things that people might have questions over in that situation, because he used to ride extremely fast at times and whatnot, and I'm sure some people would have issues with that. But at the same time, Dan, while riding extremely fast, he never glorified it. Like, he never said, hey, this is a great thing everyone should do. So yeah, it's not like he ever glorified it. But I do think these reels and these shorts and whatnot of just people riding like dumbasses and then not being able to deal with the consequences. It's a bad look, number one, for motorcycling in general, and it would really concern me if you get people like riding like that coming up the ranks, say, you know, younger people, because, like, you know, like aggressively swerving at cars and stuff. You're on a bike. You're on a bike. You were a soft, very fragile human on a bike. Like, what are you thinking? You know what I mean? What are you thinking? It's craziness. I'm not a fan of people who drive cars in general these days, because unfortunately, and I commute, by the way, 120 miles a day on this thing. That's like, what, 160 kilometers? More, about 180 kilometers, I would say. Is it? We'll say 180 kilometers per day. So I get to see, unfortunately, a lot of the worst of people driving their cars, and, you know, I get to see the best of people sometimes too, but unfortunately it is generally the worst. I generally get to see the absolute abject worst of people in their cars. I'm going into the big stone pillar, the big stone chimney. I like it in here. I like it in here, but I'd never rent a house in here, or an apartment, because then I'd I don't know. I am a person who, you know, despite being near the pizza place and all, I would hate to live in somewhere like this. But that's just me. I mean, I know a lot of people, other people like this. Oh, and people always say, "Oh, be careful," you know, you're showing where you live with your Google Maps. Where Google Maps is actually directed towards is directly to Clayton Town, like literally the downtown centre. That's where I always direct it to, because I know where my house is. So I do appreciate the concern from people, but you don't need to be concerned. But you know, I know I'm going to probably catch flack for this, because people are like, no, cars are always wrong. Even if they are, they're not. And like I said, what I mean by that is, it doesn't matter if a car is 100% in the wrong and you have a coming together with them. You're the one who's going to get hurt. So ride defensively. You know, look after yourself. You are number one on the road. Pretend like everyone else is an NPC with their intelligence set to -1. Especially if you see a phone or you see someone watching a video, assume they're going to try kill you. Assume everyone's going to try kill you. You know, and the thing is, the longer you ride, the more you'll be able to tell, hey, you know, that person looks like they're actually riding like a normal human being and not a moron. Which obviously helps. I hate to say it, but look at the type of car. Like that van over there, nice and clean, probably going to drive sensibly. That truck, nice and clean, probably going to drive sensibly. All these cars actually here, probably going to drive pretty sensibly. If it looks like it's in a heap, I wouldn't trust them. I would assume they're probably a terrible driver, and you don't want to associate with them or be near them in general on the road. Obviously, maybe they're lovely people, but they just can't drive. Yeah, that's all I'll say is look out for yourselves, ride defensively. If a situation is bad, vent about it later. Get it on video. If you're wanting to get your views, get it on video. Vent about it later. Don't react to it at the time. I've never been a shouter. I got shouted at growing up, say, when I was doing work and whatnot. And I've never felt that shouting is educational or conducive to good communication. That was something I took away from that, so it's not something I do. I think that, you know, if you shout and scream, all it does is raise emotions. And especially if you're currently in a situation where you're experiencing negative emotions like anger, and the other person, by the way, the other person is probably frightened if they have a biker coming up to them. It's just not something I would recommend doing. I don't think it makes sense to escalate a situation beyond where it needs to be. That's just my opinion. Actually, I do want to put in a little bit here. I'm not saying that I am in any way perfect and never get angry. I do. You know, like I got angry at all those situations, but the thing is, I calmed myself down before anything silly happened. And I think that's the thing we all kind of need to practice is, you know, you can get angry, especially when the situation warrants anger, but try calm yourself down before it gets to a point that stuff happens that everyone's going to regret later. That's kind of, I suppose, the big thing. Because I don't think anyone is perfect. Everyone loses their temper sometimes. Everyone overreacts sometimes. I certainly do. So, yeah, just try catch yourself before silly things happen, I suppose, is my point. This bike is so cheap to run. That is 124 miles for 3.1 gallons, which is 3.1 by 3.75 for people who want to put it into litres. I'm too hot right now. It's like 35 degrees Celsius. So I'm too hot to think. But yeah, that's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. But what I would say is, like, how I would phrase it is ride happy. If that's, you know, one piece of advice I could give is just ride happy. And just stay calm. You know, if someone does something really, really stupid, you slap in their car and stuff, it's not going to teach them a lesson. If you break their mirror, sometimes it is warranted. I'm not going to say that it's not. Some people need the expense of a broken mirror. However, do you think they're going to go home and say to their family members and extended friend group, you know, I did something silly today and this biker, he broke my mirror, but you know what? He was right. I should have been a better human there. He was in the right, or she was in the right, whoever the biker might have been. No. They're going to go home and they're going to tell everyone how terrible bikers are and how much they hate them and how they shouldn't be allowed on the road and they're a menace to society, etc. And if enough people say that, eventually the repetition starts to, you know, lend credence. If enough people say it, some people will believe it, and that is a very dangerous thing in life in general, but it's a dangerous thing against bikes, because like I said, we're not liked in general in the world anyway. So let's not help people along in hating us. Let's make it as difficult as possible. Let's be as nice as possible, as sensible as possible. It's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it for your health. It's not worth it for your mental health, physical or mental. If you're in an accident, if you put yourself in an accident, just do sane people things, you know. And like I said, ride happy, ride happy. I love being on my bike. It's a beautiful evening. If someone tries to mess it up, don't let them. If you've watched, thank you very much for watching. Please do let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Are you someone who actually really enjoys that kind of ridiculously over dramatic, this person tried to kill me in traffic content? Personally, wheelies and stuff, I still think wheelies are cool, you know. I'm never going to not like wheelies, and going fast. Obviously I don't post videos of me going fast, but I love going fast. Not that I ever do it, of course, that would be terrible. But you know, let me know your opinions. What do you like, what do you not like? If you're here watching this video, especially at this point, you're probably not the type of person who likes the ridiculously over dramatic bike stuff. But yeah, let me know. And yeah, until next time, as always, a very special thank you to all of my patrons. I love you all very much. I appreciate your support forever. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again for watching. Adios. Outro crew, what is the single stupidest bike video you've seen, like on Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or TikToks, of people just being morons, that you thought to yourself, you know what, if you get run over by a car in that situation, you kind of deserve it? And that for me was definitely the that one where the dude pulled left. It was just one of the most moronic things I've ever seen, you know. And one of the people I was actually discussing was Toaster, and Toaster was like, yeah, but the car should have never done that. And I do not in any way say that she's incorrect or anyone's incorrect, but it's just like, don't put yourself in that situation, you know. I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm being silly. Let me know what you think. As always, I appreciate all conversation, because it intrigues me. Fuel time. Also, outro crew, how much is fuel per litre in your area? Right now, this one is like 409 per gallon, so that's like 111 maybe. Very cheap, very, very, very cheap. Bye, outro crew.